Welcome back to First Step Travelers. I'm Ruben. You may remember me from an earlier episode where I talked about my trip. And this is Mike, of course, you know.
Hello there.
You already know where you're at. Basically tonight we just been going over past trips, reminiscing, talking about the present, planning for the future. We all have our own ambitions and everything and our own goals. And we just have a lot in mind in regards to traveling, in regards to seeing the world, breaking out of the norm, breaking out of the everyday cycle, seeing more, experiencing more. You know, we just want people to break out more. It's worth it. It's something everybody should experience for themselves, something everyone should do. To see the world, to do something new, to become new.
But I honestly think that's like a brilliant way to put it too, because for me personally, like traveling is like becoming a new person. You have to step outside of the norm. You know, every day you're working and you're just doing the grind and you're doing the routine, and you know that there's something else out there that you want to be and want to become and want to see and experience. And you're never going to do that unless you take the first step and get outside yourself and do it. And when you do, you just become like a whole different person. And I think that is the whole message behind this whole thing. I mean, me and Ruben get together all the time and we just talk about how much we miss getting out there and seeing the world and experiencing places and people and food and cuisine and culture and history. And it's just like, it sticks with us. Even though we're back home doing the grind, it sticks with us like every day.
Every single day. It's been 4.5 years now since my trip. Every day I think about it, every single day. I'm just eager to get back there. We've been talking about plans for the future, and I've just been saying I just need a year to figure out some things and get back to really being out there, but to do it bigger this time, bigger and differently, because there's just so much to do, so much to experience. Life's so short. I just want to see everything there is to see in my time while I'm able to. So it's better to do it. Better to do it than regret it.
Exactly.
Later on down the road.
Exactly. It's like, man, we only get one chance at life, you know. And I feel like people are always saying, you know, someday, one of these days I'm going to do this, and one of these days I'm going to do that. No, you can say that until you die. You know, it really does come down to if you're going to take that step and just get out there and do it. Buying that ticket and figuring it out and going and living, you know, it's just such an incredible part of your existence that you don't want to surrender to a 9 to 5. Like, you don't want to. Because in the end, like, you're not going to remember all those hours that you put in working.
They're not going to remember you.
Fuck.
They're not going to remember you.
Hell no.
You may think they're going to, but they're not.
They're
not going to remember you.
As soon as you're gone, you're gone. Like, that's it. It's not important, but the real important memories are the experiences you have and the people you meet and the life that you live. And I think it's just such an important part of life that people miss out, especially in this day and age where it's like you can actually do a lot more than you realize. It doesn't matter where you're at, you can make it happen if you set a goal and you strive for that goal every day. So like, that's what we've been talking about every time we've been hanging out. It's just like, how are we going to get to that next adventure, that next part of our first step journey? It's like, you know, if you've been thinking about it, you've been curious about seeing the world, you know, like, use the videos, see that it's not as scary as you would think it was. I mean, Ruben had never been anywhere other than Colorado and Kansas, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. And mind you, Colorado has great things to experience, but for a person like me who's very introverted into himself, I mean, it broke me out of my shell. Like, it was the start of breaking out of my shell. Now I'm doing things that I never would have done before if it wasn't for taking my trip and really opening myself up. So if you're a person like me who's really in a bubble, it's something you should do to bust out of it. Absolutely. And it'll change you. It'll change you for all of your days to come, believe me. Something to hold on to and something to cherish. And if you can build a life around it or later on down the road you can keep hopping in and out of it, then it's worth it because you have the knowledge and the experience of it under your belt. You can always, the confidence, you can always strive for it. If you're afraid of going by yourself, don't be afraid, just do it. I did it by myself a month and a half. I went to 5 or 6 different countries on my own, and it changed everything. It changed everything. And like I've been telling Mike, we've been sitting here planning. We've been planning for a while now. I've just been saying I just need one more year. A lot's gonna happen again, and I'm going to get back out there and see a lot of stuff and experience a lot of stuff. I just want people out there to really experience what was made for them to experience out there. We're just so trapped in the cycles of things here where we live, normal day-to-day life, and in your city, wherever you are, it's like you think there may be so much there, and there really isn't. I mean, you can only do so much. I mean, there's just unbelievable things out there to see and people to meet. I mean, I never was a people person. Now I am a people person. Now I'm okay with talking to people and stuff. I'm cool with getting to know people. I'm way more friendly than before. I mean, there's just too much. There's too much.
And like we were talking earlier, think about the history of the world. It's like we grew up in Kansas City, Missouri. It's like you're never really going to experience Greek culture unless you go to Greece. And I mean, what did Reuben do? He went to Greece and he had the most amazing time of his life. It's like, why would you never have those experiences if you had the opportunity? Make the opportunity for yourself and do something that you care about. Maybe you don't care about Greece, but maybe you love Turkey. Maybe you love Southeast Asian culture. You're very curious about Vietnam. You want to know what happened there or what the history is. Go there and see it. Explore it. Know people who have been through it. And it's just like an entire lane of reality opens up for you that you're never going to experience that here. You know, you might go to a pho shop somewhere and like, oh, this is great food. But it's like, you didn't go to Vietnam. You know, you didn't meet people there. Put yourself in those situations, and it just opens up a lane of life that you never thought you could ever in your entire existence experience. And then you build the confidence so that you know, hey, it's not that difficult to do. Maybe a little bit of planning will go into it, make my life work around this trip. Then I'm going to take this trip, I'm going to explore, and I'm just going to leave myself open to the experience. And I think that's what's really important. You know, when I do trips, I don't go on these trips expecting something to happen, but things happen, and when they do, it is honestly life-changing. And you know, I don't know what my next trip is going to be, but I know that I'm going to find something I want to do. I'm going to do it, and whether it's amazing or it's not what I expected, either way I learned from it. There hasn't been a trip I haven't learned from, and there hasn't been a trip that I would take back if I could. I again highly encourage you to just take life in your own hands, figure out what you want to see and what you want to do, and make a plan and execute it and do it.
Even if you could not get a passport and go and see the world, go outside of your city, go outside of your area, get outside of your state, go on a road trip, do something. Just get out of your comfort zone. Go and do something different. Whatever you can do that can just bust you out of that bubble, it's worth it. It's so worth it. Coming from a very used to be such introverted person, close to everything. I mean, just experience life while you have the chance. It'll change everything. It will change everything. I cannot stress that enough. Don't just settle for small stuff. Don't just settle for stuff that most would just post on social media.
You think you get, oh, I will do it later, and then by that time you realize, oh, I'm in my mid-30s and life has flown by and I have 3 kids and all these responsibilities. If you get the chance, take it. If you don't get the chance, make the chance. This is the only life you get, so make it work. Do the things you want to do, be reasonable, and enjoy life. And we here at First Step Man, we wish you guys the best. Make it work, plan, and execute. And that's all we can say. As 2 friends who have been friends for 15 years, we're gonna take the last drink of the night together.
Hey,
Rude. Love you, brother.
First step.
First step. Signing off.